done. We want to make life better for the American people. But I'm trying to figure out what leverage we actually have. What leverage do we have? Republicans have repeatedly lectured America. They control the House, the Senate, and the presidency. It's their government. What leverage do we have?
The fearless opposition party, ladies and gentlemen.
That's Hakeem Jeffries is normally much better than that. I have to go back and kind of figure out how he got to that point. I haven't followed him as closely, but Anna Kasparian is going to have a couple words to say about it. She's beside herself. Makeup all getting messed up, hair all getting twisted apart. Anna Kasparian, the Young Turks, Cenk Uygur. Let's hear them get into it. I like responding to Cenk and Anna. They're fun. Don't tell me you don't like. Secretly, I know you like Anna Kasparian and Cenk Uygur and the Young Turks. Let's get it.
Give them a round of applause. Give them a round of applause. There's nothing we can do. What do you want us to do? I'm gonna stand here as the House minority leader and complain about how we don't have any leverage when I could be messaging about how there's a robbery going on right now as we speak. The dismantling of the government agencies seeking to return money to Americans who are defrauded by the big banks. Can you maybe muster up enough energy to give a speech about that? House minority leader. Hakeem Jeffries. God, the Democrats are so pathetic. They're so pathetic because if you don't agree with what the Trump administration is up to, if you don't identify as a Republican, if you didn't want to vote for Donald Trump, what other option do you have? Okay, the party that tried to run a decomposing corpse, and then when he got caught, they anointed the Democratic nominee. The party that keeps telling you that there's nothing they can do, whether they're in power or out of power.
Yeah, I mean,
look, come on.
So, guys, you've literally heard me sometimes sing this line. There's nothing we could do. There's nothing we can do. That's the Democratic mantra, and that they say that when they get in power. They're like, oh, the filibuster, the parliamentarian, skittle-boo. You're like, that's not even a word. It doesn't matter. There's nothing we could do. There's nothing we could do.
So pathetic.
And now that they're in the minority, here comes Hakeem Jeffries to sing the same song. There's nothing we could do. Then what? You know what? The American people believed you. You kept telling them that you can't do anything, so they voted you out of power because you can't do anything.
That's fair.
Why don't you man up and grow a spine and a brain and actually figure out a strategy? That moron just said, well, and the Republicans have the House and the Senate and the White House, and the Republicans message to the American people. Wait, why don't you message to the American people? You're doing a press conference right there, schmuck. Why don't you get out your message? I didn't think about that. Look, I need you to understand these Democratic leadership, mainstream media told you your whole life about how they're amazing people. They literally said when we were criticizing Barack Obama from the left, you don't understand, he's doing 4-dimensional chess. He 4-dimensional chess to no change at all other than Obamacare, okay? He 4D chess all the way to a giant bank bailout that made the Democratic Party deeply unpopular and lost 1,000 seats. And here comes Hakeem Jeffries to go, there's nothing I can do. They're dumb.
They're
right, and they're incompetent.
Incompetent, feckless.
Total losers.
Yep, 100%. This is it. This is the opposition party. So look, his explanation for why.
This is a funny one, man. We're just gonna watch the crash out. Let me know in the comments what you think about this one. I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna take it to a little bit of a different direction about my take on the Democratic Party.
Democrats can't deliver for Americans right now is that Republicans just never let them get anything done. Right? That's the role of your opposition party, Hakeem Jeffries. But isn't it amazing that when Republicans want something, they usually find a way to get what they want? Anyway, he doubled down later in the same press conference. Let's hear what the House Minority Leader has to say.
We've made clear from the beginning. There's a season to govern and a season to campaign. We are in the governing season. And so we're ready to work together on any issue. But I'm also confused about the leverage that we allegedly have in the face of such an overwhelming mandate that was given to Republicans by the American people, according to them.
Listen, no one is stupid enough to think that Democrats have a modicum of power right now. They don't. They have no power right now. We all understand that. But how about take a look at the behavior of Republicans when they are not in power? You want to know what they do? They don't shut up. Okay, they're doing press conferences, they're doing congressional hearings, they're repetitive again and again. I mean, the Hillary Benghazi thing, every single day, Hillary Benghazi, Hillary Benghazi, Hillary Benghazi. Democrats though, oh, they cower, and then they tell their own supporters, shut up, there's nothing we can do because we don't have enough power. And then what they'll say is, we need to have control of Congress. And then everyone will get out the vote, they'll organize, they'll canvass, they'll fight real hard to ensure Democrats have the majority in Congress in both the lower chamber, Senate, and guess what they do with that power? Nothing. That's what Biden had. And then it was excuse after excuse after excuse for why they can't get their own agenda accomplished, even when they had control of the executive branch and they had control of Congress. But don't worry, don't fret, because there's another Democratic leader who's gonna fight for us, and she's gonna explain how in this next clip.
My whole passion about being in politics is for the children. So what is it that we're doing for the children? I think that it would have been important for the children to not have Donald Trump be president of the United States. And that is, I would take every step necessary to make sure that didn't happen, but it did. And now we have to deal with it. And in about 6 or 7 months, you're going to see such a change. By the time we start our campaigns in this fall, for next fall, you're going to see a very different picture about the Democrats vis-a-vis Donald Trump.
Retire. She's sitting there and talking about like, don't worry, in 6 months, we might start fighting back. Like,
I want to explain why she says 6 to 7 months. First, let me go through all this, and we're going to be constructive. I'm going to tell you what they actually should do, okay? Because I think we're the only show that ever does that, right? So first of all, on Hakeem Jeffries, he says, well, there's nothing we do in the minority. But wait a minute, when you were in the majority and Biden had the House, the Senate, and the White House, you also said there was nothing you could do. Why? Because the GOP was blocking all your bills, even though they were in the minority because of the filibuster. So why don't you do the same thing? And then there would be something you could do. Why don't you just do exactly what the Republicans did to you that you complained about when Biden was in charge? Did that not occur to you? Because when you were in charge, you couldn't stop talking about the filibuster and the parliamentarian. Now, all of a sudden, you can't find the parliamentarian. What's a filibuster?
This is funny. My takeaway is you have to be for something, not against. That's a big thing. And I think about that a lot with my own life. And if you talk about what am I, and then it's easy to go to, well, I don't like this, or well, no, that doesn't define what you are. Maybe it can help, but do you really want to define yourself, who you are as a person politically, by what you're not? So you can go ahead and do all these tricks or whatever if you disagree with the Trump policy, but I think the big takeaway is if Trump is doing something you agree with it. I mean, there's no need for this manufactured opposition, this directionalist or without direction, directionalist opposition. That's a problem. It's corporate emptiness. You're defining yourself based on somebody said it, and I'm going to be against it. Trump said it, so I'm going to be against it. And that's a terrible place to be. And I don't know how Democrats dig their way out if that's what they're going to do. And the Young Turks did not address that. So it's going to be a rough, and if they're not going to steal another one, it's going to be a rough next midterm and general election.
The next clip is ready below. Welcome to After Show Carnage.